Train your taste buds early. In Japan, the journey to a healthy relationship with food starts young, not through rules or restrictions, but through experience. Children don't just eat lunch at school, they live it. Meals are eaten together, quietly, respectfully, and every single one is designed by a nutritionist. It's not an afterthought. It's part of education. These aren't mass-produced trays of mystery meat and chocolate milk. These are freshly prepared plates with rice, vegetables, fish, soup, a balance of flavors and nutrients served with purpose. And here's what's interesting. That daily exposure rewires the brain. It sets a baseline for what normal tastes like. It teaches the tongue to enjoy bitterness, savor umami, recognize subtle sweetness. So years later, when those kids grow up, they don't crave ultra-processed snacks. Their brain isn't wired to chase a sugar high. It's wired to appreciate balance. Compare that with a typical lunchroom in the US or many Western countries. Processed food dominates. Frozen pizza, fries, chicken nuggets, ketchup, chocolate milk, vending machines just steps away. It's not a lunch, it's a training session for your future cravings. And those cravings are hard to unlearn, because taste is a habit. It's not just a preference, it's a pattern built through repetition. But here's the good news. Taste can be retrained at any age. The key is consistency. Start small. Replace one processed item a week with something whole and fresh. Swap that afternoon bag of chips for a small bowl of miso soup or some sliced cucumbers with sea salt. Each time you make that swap, the brain adjusts, and so do your cravings. Over time, junk food stops hitting the same way, and real food begins to feel satisfying again. The change doesn't have to be drastic, just gradual and deliberate. Little habits stack up, and slowly, you build a new default. Healthy convenience. Walk into a convenience store in Japan, and what greets you isn't a wall of sugary sodas or bags of chips. Instead, it's perfectly portioned rice balls, bento boxes with grilled salmon, soft-boiled eggs, fresh salads, and miso soup. Real food. Fast, accessible, and affordable. Convenience doesn't have to mean junk. In Japan, convenience is built around health. It's not an accident, it's by design. Even the vending machines offer canned green tea, small portions of cold coffee, and light snacks. Compare that to the Western default: large bags of chips, king-size candy bars, microwave burritos loaded with preservatives. The environment nudges behavior more than willpower ever could. This is the quiet genius of environmental design. It's not about discipline, it's about making the healthy choice the easiest one. People don't always choose what's best. They choose what's nearby, what's quick, what's normal. So when fresh, nutritious food is the default, people naturally gravitate toward it. And it's everywhere. At the train station, on the street corner, in the office. That accessibility removes friction. You don't have to think twice, you don't have to cook a whole meal, and you definitely don't need a gym membership to eat better. It's not about a grand transformation, it's about removing the barriers. Small changes to your environment can make a huge impact. Stock your fridge with pre-cut veggies, keep fruit within reach, swap your desk drawer snacks for something simple but real. When the good stuff is just as easy to grab, the bad stuff becomes a little less tempting. It's not about willpower, it's about what's around you. Portion control without pain. In Japan, meals aren't served as giant overflowing plates. They're served in small, separate dishes. A little rice, a small bowl of soup, a piece of grilled fish, a few vegetables. It might seem modest, but here's the trick. The variety makes it feel abundant. The colors, the textures, the flavors. They engage the brain more than a massive single-plate meal ever could. The culture embraces the idea of moderation, not as a restriction, but as a practice of awareness. There's even a traditional saying, hara hachi bu, which means eat until you're 80% full, not stuffed, not uncomfortable, just satisfied. That single idea quietly rewires how people respond to food. Eating slowly with intention gives the body time to catch up. It takes about 20 minutes for the brain to register fullness. And by the time that message arrives, most Western-style meals are already long gone. In Japanese dining, smaller plates make a difference. It's called the unit bias, the psychological tendency to feel satisfied once a full unit is consumed, regardless of its actual size. So, a smaller bowl of rice feels like enough because the bowl is finished. There's no need to overeat when the environment is subtly signaling satisfaction. And there's another hidden advantage. Less room for mindless extras. No supersized sodas, no baskets of endless fries, no refills of sugary drinks. Just measured, thoughtful portions that honor the meal, not stretch the stomach. Try this at home. Serve meals on smaller plates. Use small bowls instead of large ones. Don't eat out of a package. Create portions you can finish without going past fullness. Your body listens, but only if you give it the space and time to speak. Sugar awareness. Here's something surprising. The average Japanese person consumes about half the sugar of the average American. And that's not because they're avoiding sweets altogether. It's because their culture has a different relationship with sweetness. Walk into a Japanese cafe or bakery, and you'll find beautifully crafted desserts. Miniature cakes, dainty mochi, delicate confections, all elegantly presented, all much smaller than their Western counterparts. Instead of giant slices piled high with frosting, you get a small portion that focuses on experience over quantity. One bite to satisfy the senses, not 5 to fill the stomach. Even their drinks follow this rhythm. A soda can in Japan is just 150 milliliters, less than half the size of a standard American can. And sugary drinks aren't an everyday habit. Green tea, barley tea, and black coffee are far more common, and they come unsweetened. There's also a cultural preference for subtlety. Instead of overwhelming sweetness, Japanese flavors lean on balance. You'll find desserts with matcha's bitterness or red bean paste that's gently sweet, not cloying. Sweetness isn't meant to dominate, it's meant to complement, and that changes how people consume it. Sweets become occasional experiences, not daily coping mechanisms. They're enjoyed slowly, often with tea and rarely in isolation. There's a whole ritual around it. A seasonal mochi in spring, a chestnut dessert in autumn. It's connected to time, place, and mood. Contrast that with the mindless snacking culture elsewhere, grabbing a candy bar at the gas station, a donut with coffee, or pouring sugary cereal into a bowl without thinking. It's not just more sugar, it's less intention. Japanese food packaging also plays a role. Portions are smaller. Calories are listed clearly, and there's often only 1 or 2 servings per pack, not 8 disguised as one. That transparency trains the brain differently. It encourages awareness. Then there's advertising. While Western media glamorizes indulgence, treat yourself. You deserve this. Extra caramel. Japanese media tends to highlight lightness, purity, seasonal freshness. It subtly shapes desire. And dessert isn't framed as a reward for suffering through a diet. It's part of life, just not the center of it. That difference in mindset creates room for self-regulation without guilt or obsession. Why does this matter? Because sugar isn't just about taste. It's about how the brain learns to expect reward. High sugar diets change the palate. They dull sensitivity. The more sugar someone consumes, the more they need to feel satisfied. But the opposite is also true. Studies show that when sugar intake is reduced, sensitivity returns. People begin tasting sweetness more intensely and needing less of it to feel the same pleasure. That's the science behind Japan's quiet restraint. It's not about denial, it's about recalibration. Try dialing it back slowly. Swap 1 sugary drink a day for unsweetened tea. Pick desserts you can savor, not devour. Pay attention to how the sweetness actually feels. With time, the cravings fade, the tongue resets, and what used to feel like a treat starts to feel like too much. Structured eating. In Japan, most people eat 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, at roughly the same times. It sounds simple, but this kind of rhythm does more than just keep things organized. It creates harmony between behavior and biology. When meals follow a consistent schedule, the body adapts. Hunger hormones regulate, energy levels stabilize, and blood sugar doesn't crash unexpectedly. That means fewer impulsive snacks, fewer late-night cravings, and less emotional eating. It's like setting your internal clock to run smoothly, instead of in chaos. Breakfast often comes before 9 a.m. Lunch is usually around noon or 1 p.m. Dinner happens by 8 p.m. Nothing extreme, just predictable. And that predictability reduces stress. Because when the body knows food is coming, it doesn't panic, it doesn't push cravings into overdrive or trigger survival mode. Contrast that with the typical grab-and-go eating style, skipping breakfast, snacking mid-morning, having a late lunch, and picking at something again at 10 p.m. The body is never sure when the next meal will come, so it responds with unpredictability. It holds on to fat, it spikes hunger, it makes overeating easier and balance harder. Structured eating doesn't have to be rigid, it just has to be consistent. Set a routine that works and stick with it as much as possible. Plan meals instead of winging them. Give your body the rhythm it's looking for, and you'll find that hunger stops being a problem to fight. It becomes a signal you understand. Move naturally. In Japan, movement isn't something that gets squeezed into a schedule. It's not something people make time for. It just happens. Naturally, consistently, and without pressure. People walk to the train station. They take stairs without thinking. They bike to work, stand on subways, carry groceries, and stroll through neighborhoods. Movement is built into everyday life, not isolated to a 60-minute gym session. And that's exactly why it works. It's called non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT for short. It refers to the calories burned from everyday movements: cleaning, walking, standing, fidgeting. It may seem small, but these micro movements add up. In fact, NEAT can contribute more to daily calorie burn than traditional exercise, especially for people who aren't sedentary. The beauty of this approach is that it removes guilt. You don't need a perfect workout routine. You don't need to punish yourself on a treadmill. You just need to stay in motion. And when the environment supports that, when cities are walkable, stairs are common, public transport requires steps, movement becomes the norm. Even inside homes, there's more motion. Sitting on the floor requires standing up. Using traditional kitchens means more bending, reaching, standing. The whole setup favors small acts of motion over hours of sitting. To bring this into daily life, start thinking in steps. Literally. Walk when you can. Stand when you have the chance. Choose stairs instead of elevators. It doesn't have to be intense. It just has to be consistent. Over time, the difference is massive, not because of one big workout, but because movement became a lifestyle, not a chore. Slow eating. In Japan, meals aren't rushed, they're savored. And a big reason for that is the use of chopsticks. Eating with chopsticks naturally slows things down. You can't shovel food into your mouth with them. You have to pause, pick, place, chew. It turns every bite into a small act of attention. That slower pace matters more than most people realize. It takes the brain about 20 minutes to register that the stomach is full. Eat too fast, and it's easy to blow past that signal and end up feeling stuffed, or worse, sluggish. Eat slowly, and you give the body time to respond. This isn't about counting chews or setting a timer. It's about letting meals be meals, not multitasking sessions. In Japan, there's a cultural respect for food that discourages eating while walking, driving, or scrolling on a phone. The focus stays on the plate, and that naturally leads to slower, more mindful eating. When you slow down, several things happen. You enjoy the food more. You notice textures and flavors. You stop when you're satisfied, not when the plate is empty. It's a simple shift, but a powerful one. To put this into practice, try setting your utensils down between bites. Take a breath, look at your plate, chew fully, drink a sip of tea. These small pauses create space, and in that space, fullness speaks up. And when fullness has room to be heard, overeating stops being the default. The goal isn't to eat less, it's to eat with awareness. And with that awareness comes satisfaction, not just physically, but mentally too. Respect the meal. In Japan, eating isn't something you do while distracted. It's not done on the go, behind the wheel, or during a Zoom call. Meals are a moment, a quiet pause, a simple ritual. There's no scrolling through phones, no background TV, just people, food, and presence. This respect for food changes the entire experience. It signals to the body that eating matters, that it deserves attention. And when meals are treated like moments of care, people naturally slow down. They chew more, they taste more, and they stop when they're satisfied, not just when the plate is empty. Even the way meals are presented speaks to this mindfulness. Small dishes arranged thoughtfully. Fresh ingredients showcased with intention. There's an unspoken rule that eating deserves your full awareness, and that awareness, in turn, fosters control. When the brain is focused on the meal, it hears hunger and fullness cues more clearly. That's why distraction-free eating isn't just polite, it's practical. It keeps you tuned in, and when you're tuned in, your body becomes a better guide than any calorie counter. The Japanese mindset. These 9 habits aren't hacks, they're not tricks or quick fixes. They're a mindset, a way of living that prioritizes rhythm, balance, and respect over extremes. They don't rely on grinding willpower, they're built into the flow of everyday life. That's the quiet power of Japan's approach to staying slim. It's not about fighting the body, it's about designing a lifestyle that works with it. No starvation, no stress. Just better defaults. When food is fresh, movement is natural, and meals are mindful, staying slim doesn't require struggle. It becomes the byproduct of a life lived in alignment with biology, with culture, with intention. If any of these habits resonated, start with one. Just one. Maybe it's slowing down while you eat. Maybe it's adding one fresh food to your day. Maybe it's building a mealtime routine. Small shifts become new rhythms, and those rhythms change everything. If this deep dive into Japanese habits opened up a new way of thinking about health, there's a lot more where that came from. Hit subscribe, leave a comment with the habit you want to try first, and share this with someone who's tired of the gym diet cycle. This isn't about chasing slim, it's about living well.